So now this video is about what to share about yourself as a teacher and how to build that connection with students. Because when you're that first day of school, you're so nervous, and once it gets going, once you're a few hours and you realize, okay, I'm going to be okay. I know that you might not sleep the night before, but planning out what you're going to share with students could be a good step in showing your students that you're a human, making them want to impress you or connect with you. Or long story short, if you share with your students, you're not such a flat character. You're not just another teacher who's just pushing more content. You're that really goofy teacher who's into this. And so my first bit of advice is be really into something. Be super excited about volleyball, or be super excited about a sports team, or be really into this activity and talk about it all the time, because students are so into their own heads, and students are so wrapped up in their own world that if you're not unique and if you're not giving them something to anchor their knowledge to you to, you're not even making an impact on them. I've gone years with students who barely know anything about me, and I barely know anything about them, because I'm so focused on the content in my class. They walk in, they sit down, they learn something, they walk out. If I can connect with them because I'm really into something that they happen to be into, or if I can start asking them questions, now we've got a dialogue. Now they're coming into my classroom and not just waiting for it to end and looking around to see who's misbehaving and trying to take them off task. So it can really be helpful to be into something. Then share video clips of that thing. If you're really into volleyball, share a really cool volleyball video, or a video of volleyball about yourself. Maybe accidentally let them see a YouTube tab open of you watching volleyball, and oh, I was on prep. Hey, look, I'm watching the volleyball game from last night. It's okay to let them see you have interest and avoid only talking about just your content. So if you're an English teacher and you're only talking about that thing, they're going to get, sick of you kind of quickly. So be yourself, but choose something that you want to be into and go for it. Next up, I'd say share when you're taking a risk teaching. Say, hey guys, there's this new unit. I've never tried this out before, but I think it could be great because you guys are going to be able to do this. And if you share that, hey, I'm taking a risk on this and maybe I'll fall flat, that's a great modeling of a growth mindset. And your students can kind of see, oh, how is this going to work? How is this person doing it? And also, if you share that I'm taking a risk, it's a little easier to switch midstream and say, okay, I told you we were going to do 3 days of this, but okay, that wasn't working, and so we're switching to this. It doesn't quite feel so random to students if they know that you were trying something, you're changing to make it better, than if, oh, they said we're doing 3 days of this, but now I was looking, and kids will give up on you a little bit when they don't need to. Share what it is you're trying to do, share your goals for it, and then get excited about the mistakes that you make and what you learn from those mistakes. If you share, oh my gosh, hey guys, I thought that this lesson was going to teach, show this and this and this, but wow, I made this mistake because I should have taught you this, and let me go back. They'll be more with you and say, oh, this learning is a process, and this teacher isn't just a wise person who knows everything and gives it to us perfectly. This teacher is like us in another way. So as you are sharing your mistakes and getting excited to say, oh my, I know how to do this now, I'm so excited, be imperfect and say, I don't know. Kids would rather know that you're like them than you're perfect, unquestionable, anything else. So I have no problem saying I don't know. I have no problem saying I learned something from you today, or I made a mistake. And it just helps kids get on board with what you're trying to do. There's 2 points left. Having any topic that you're really into that might be even a little bit controversial can be misconstrued by your students. And so if you're going to go into a current event and say, okay, here's this event that's happening, and there's this side of people who are saying this and this side of people who are saying that, it's almost likely that a student's going to go home and say, that teacher said this, and they're terrible. And so you can definitely go into those topics, but always try to summarize what you said and do it multiple times and say, okay, here's what I'm saying, here's the way to look at it, here's how to view these events in the world. Because if you're just sort of giving a cursory understanding or just sharing an opinion, and it could be a fair opinion, kids will misconstrue it, they'll hear it with slanted ears, and then it's like a game of telephone. They'll tell their parents what you said, and the parents will hear it even worse, and then that'll start coming back on you. And it's okay to talk about controversial things, but you need to take a step back and make sure that you're providing context and summarizing what you're saying. The last thing I'll share about sharing about yourself is that the bad things in your past can be your strength. If there's something in your past that you had to go through and you were probably, hiding from everyone, obviously, if you're comfortable, that can be a strength of yours. And sharing that with your students can be something that empowers students to realize how strong you are and find some strength in themselves to get over that thing that they might be going through, or they might be going through the exact same thing. I often share with my students that I had severe social anxiety in middle school. If there was a girl walking towards me on the hallway, I would be kind of on the edge of the hallway, and I'd be sweating profusely by the time they walked past. And just sharing that minor struggle connects with a lot of kids, and they understand kind of what that looks like. There's other kids, really? What do you mean? And at the time, I didn't know what was going on. I just had extreme social anxiety. But sharing that with students is a strength. Is sharing it as a way to connect. Sharing it as a way to help the kid who is going through that right now. And as a teacher, you've got a unique position to be able to help those kids who are going through the stuff that you struggled with in the past, and you can help them just by talking about it and say, here's what happened to me, here's how I got through it, and now I'm awesome. So you might not know most of the kids who are going through it. You probably won't, but you will still be helping them by talking about it and sharing that thing that makes you imperfect and the bad thing you went through in your past. So something to consider.